welcome back to No Agendas. You know the title already, you know the format of the show. We come with agendas but strong arguments as well. And today's going to be one of them shows because the fan base is divided right now. Eric Ten Hag decided to reveal that he dropped Jadon Sancho from the squad for the Arsenal game because his training level wasn't up to scratch. Jadon Sancho has responded on social media saying that he feels scapegoated. More importantly, though, Man United lost the match 3-1, but no one's talking about that today. Like, I've been
Nope.
on Twitter Spaces all day. It's just been Sancho, Ten Hag, Ten Hag out, Sancho, Ten Hag out, Sancho for the most part. Give Ten Hag time, the whole nine. Nothing about the game. So we will get to the game at some point, but we got to start with Jadon Sancho and Ten Hag. I've got Neji with me, got Jimmy with me. Cash should be joining us in a little bit. Boy, I've been speaking about this since like midday, so I'm a fall back. I'm gonna go over to you, Neji, and what I want to know, just give me your general thoughts on it. I don't want to give you a close-ended question. I just want your general thoughts on this Ten Hag, Jadon Sancho situation we're seeing play out right in front of us.
Um, I'll be 100. I'll speak from my own personal look at it, yeah, rather than objectives on this one, which may shock you. And I'll probably give you a reason as to why I believe it should be that way personally. Ten Hag said what he said, and I don't agree with him giving any reason. Forget how he said it and what he said. I don't agree with the fact that he gave a reason regarding Sancho. The reason I don't the reason I don't agree with
What's going on?
yeah, we're all good, man. The reason I don't actually agree with Ten Hag doing that is because you open up the gates for a little bit of ammo and a bit of tension in the camp, and so giving Ten Hag's track record in the sense of how he's handled difficult situations with other players, I think this was a blip following a very, very depressing and very frustrating game for him. So I'm not sitting here justifying what he did, but I feel like I have an understanding as to why he was so loose with him just being so open to being that way. And I do think it's because he's just straight after a game, he's pissed, he's vexed. And I don't think he cared too tough. Normally, people who are quite meticulous and who are quite, how can I put it, specific are more careful with their words because they don't like to be misunderstood. Ten Hag has a consistency of being that person. However, he's a human being, so I believe he's had a wobble. Following on from that wobble, I don't believe the way Jadon Sancho has handled it, although necessary, yes, to defend yourself, but I think we're going to talk about different ways in which you can actually go and defend yourself. And I'll give you prime examples. First one being Donny van der Beek. His treatment, sorry, I must say this as well. If you actually go and watch what Ten Hag said, there was nothing malicious or hateful about what he said. He just said it quite plainly. So there's no undertone to him even digging Sancho out like that. I think it's been blown out of proportion. However, moving on to Donny, the way he was treated and the way he handled the situation, it took about 18 months for him to get that situation where he blew up on the bench when he was pissed off, and so I can't remember who it was, so I had to calm him down when he didn't get to come on. But my man's been treated worse. Like, let's be honest. I'll even go to as far as looking at a prime example of this season, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was looking to get shipped off last season. Literally got his head down, came back a better player. Now, he's ultimately, in my opinion, been top 3 players this season for us in terms of consistency in his role. If you actually watch his overall game, he hasn't actually put a foot wrong as much as others. He's been more consistent. He's actually his answer to something like "you're not good enough in training" or "you're not doing enough" was, "Let me be accountable. Let me reevaluate myself. Let me go out there and go. Let me step up and do what I need to do." So there are different ways in which you can answer your critics. I don't think the one Sancho's chosen was necessary, although I do believe necessary to defend yourself, given the fact that I do believe Ten Hag was out of order for doing what he did, given his track record. So that's the timeline I follow. It's basically a snowball effect, and that's what's happening now. Ten Hag pushed the snowball, started off small. Sancho responded. Everyone else is making it bigger. I don't believe it's as big as it should be because, again, Fergie criticised many players there and then, and it happens. It really does happen. Now, the last thing I will finish on, Danny, before we go to Jim's and ours maybe. I also recall Sancho reportedly being highly respectful of Ten Hag in the way he's handled Sancho with his own personal situations, regardless of what they are. I don't claim to be in the know of what they are, and I'm not going to speak on them, but based on reports only, as a neutral fan, I recall Sancho being in somewhat high praise of Ten Hag for the way he's been handled and the way he brought him back in. And when he came off the bench for his first appearance back in, the smile on Ten Hag's face, that little conversation was quite mutual. It was quite nice to see. So I don't think he hates him, but I think at the same time, Ten Hag is a very meticulous and specific man. And if you ain't pulling your weight, you're going to know about it. I just think the heat of the Arsenal game trickled over so much that he wasn't able to then hold himself and maintain what we've already seen from him, that professionalism. And that's what's kind of given people the ammo then to go, oh, Ten Hag out, Sancho out. So I think Sancho's got to at least minimum get disciplined. But at the same time, I wouldn't be batching eyelid if he got sold as well, because I think no player should be bigger than Man United, and I'm happy to follow Fergie's reign and ideology in that statement. So a lot there from what I've said, but that's literally how I feel overall on it.
A few bits I want to unpack, but I want to get to Mr. England over here. I think he's about to kick ball. Striker or a centre mid today, Zo? What are you saying? Your mic.
Let me order a drink. Give me 2 minutes. Go over to Jimmy and I'll be back in a sec.
This
I'm
guy,
sure doing
man,
another brandy.
Oh, what do you mean? Hold on. Are you got to kick ball? You out and about? What are you doing?
I'm on annual leave, mate. I'm getting a drink.
This guy.
I'm getting a drink.
This guy thinks he's on a Twitter space, you know, YouTube. What's wrong with him? Before we go to Jimmy, a few things. This isn't. How do I put this? For me, I'll give you an example, yeah? So in November, when the club said he was injured, I called bullshit straight away on my Twitter account, and I called bullshit for months before they came up with the he's in the Netherlands training thing, right? And all I got was flack from people. They looked at it and read it and said to me, you've got an agenda against Sancho. You've got an agenda against Sancho. I'm like, no, I just know when my football club is lying. I know when my club is lying. Even with the Greenwood thing, like, I didn't know what was going on until 3 months beforehand, but still, when Ollie would say, oh, Greenwood's not in, just when Greenwood would just magically not be in the squad, I know I've just got common sense. If a manager has a press conference on a Thursday and the journalist asked them, yo, you know, who's fit, who's not fit, what's the status of the squad health-wise? If they say a player's fit, then come Saturday, that player's not in the team. You're not fooling me. Yeah, it will be reported he picked up a knock, and if that's not being reported, then they're covering something up. Yeah, so that's, oh my God. You need a snack, son, yeah? All right, where's mummy? What's going on?
In my room.
Mummy's in your room?
Yes.
All right, let me go to Jimmy. I'll go over to Jimmy and we'll sort out my boy a snack in it because mummy's slacking off in it. Just super dad over here in it, streaming and sorting out snacks for the kiddies.
Yeah, that good luck, Danny. Good luck, man. Now, do you know, for me and AG, you've said you took the words out of my mouth in many ways, because I'm approaching it from a balanced point of view, because I have to look at the whole situation, and I have to say what's gone wrong, what's gone right, what should have been done. And this is just based on my opinion, and a lot of what you said, Neji, is exactly what I was saying, because for the team is very important, especially now we're coming from a period where there's been no discipline in the dressing rooms, players throwing tantrums left, right, and centre, getting away with it. We've had no structure of play at all, and that's purely because a lot of times the training just wasn't adequate enough for us to even be able to develop any kind of solid playing structure. So we've gone through this period of time where there's been no measures taken to try and get the squad to be organized, professional, be consistent, stick to the plan at all times, to now having a manager who's prepared to make sacrifices, even in terms of goal scorer, because, you know, Ronaldo is a goal scorer. Let's face it. He scored so many goals in the first season. So now the manager is making all these sacrifices because he knows that for me to get anything out of the squad that I've got at the moment and going forward, I have to make sure that there's discipline in the squad. I have to make sure that there's structure of play. We have to make sure that everyone's training at the same level, at the same rate, in the same way. And all the measures that he's taken to achieve that includes the way that he's dealt with some big name players. And unfortunately, Jadon Sancho is a player at Manchester United. He's not Manchester United. So the manager's going to deal with him in the way that he feels is best to get the best out of him. Now, for me, when I've looked at Ten Hag's comments, I don't see any malice in his comments at all. People have come on Twitter. It's been blown out of proportion. Obviously, the response fueled the fire even more. I'm seeing an issue that isn't that big. It's a manager trying to manage the squad. Now, one thing I'll say about the way that he said it, for me, he should be more careful, Niji. That's why I was saying that I agree with everything you were saying, because I wouldn't expect him to be so uncalculated, especially knowing that we've had a poor start to the season. He needs to get the whole squad on side as much as possible. And I think for me, he could have definitely said it different. He could have maybe not even really go into that much detail. And unfortunately, the question came after a defeat that he felt we shouldn't have been defeated. So now you're asking a manager who's already emotional, and you're asking about a situation, and you know that he's probably going to be honest, although normally he's a bit more tactical about it, the way that he speaks about situations. This time, you've let him loose after a match, a very emotional moment, and he's come out and just told the truth. And unfortunately, we're not used to the truth as Manchester United fans because we're used to politics. He's told us what he thinks. Now let's go to Jadon Sancho's side. Absolutely 100%. He's got every right to defend himself. He's a man. He's got every right to defend himself, and I will never knock a man for trying to defend themselves. The way he's gone about it as well, for me, that's not the way to go about it, because Ten Hag, he strikes me as the kind of manager that the players can approach and have a conversation with. So for me, maybe he should have started there. He should have gone to the manager and said, look, what was that about? I don't agree with that. And they could have had a conversation as men. They could have had a conversation, and I'm sure Ten Hag would have told him exactly how he feels. And that maybe could have been resolved behind closed doors. I don't think he had to go on social media knowing fully well that's going to fuel the fire, because for me, it almost takes away from the actual situation that we should be discussing. What is Jadon Sancho's form? How is he training? That's the conversation we should be having, not this other conversation about social media and about who's right and who's wrong. We're looking at the wrong things, and I think we've blown something out of proportion just purely because of the way that it was said from the manager, which I blame him for, although I think he's on the right track in terms of what he's trying to do for the club. And on Sancho's side, he should not have gone about it the way that he's gone about it, but he has every right as a man to defend himself. So that's how I feel about it.
Question, just for us, if you don't mind, yeah. Just a question, because obviously you said something about Ten Hag, yeah. Do you think then the Ten Hag would be, and I'm saying this because I believe in it, but I want to get your thoughts on it. Do you believe that Ten Hag, the man that he is, will recognise, and again, if it is a case of he's acted out of emotion because he's not really regulated his emotions before he's pressed because of a mad game, if that's the reason he's stepped over the boundary, of his own boundary, shall we say, do you think then he'll be accountable enough, self-reflective enough as the man that we feel he is, and go, you know what, that was my bad, however, you can't do X, Y, Z, let's find a solution because Do you then think that could be a possibility? And then do you believe 100%. Sancho is going to be grown enough to take that on?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I don't think Sancho, he's going to regret it. I mean, it depends how he looks at it. He might look at it as a good way to get the fan base on side rather than sort of, because for me, like you mentioned, if he's, look at Wan-Bissaka, you gave Wan-Bissaka as an example. If you want to say to the manager, right, I'll show you. Why would you say these things that are not true? Or buckle down, train better, speak to the manager, say, look, you've aired me out in public. Now I need you to be specific with me. What is it what am I not doing? Let's have this conversation. Let me try and improve myself. And then he can come on the pitch and prove himself and get the fan base on side.
This is what you guys are missing. That conversation's happened. And that's why Jadon Sancho's responding in the manner that he has. Now, look, I probably shouldn't be saying this on camera, but I'm going to say it. Naji's in a group chat with me. He can say if I'm lying or not. I knew on Friday Sancho weren't going to be in the squad. Said it in the group chat. People were like, what? I'm like, another bust up. Right? If you know, you know. It's the second one. Maybe the third one. Who knows how many bust ups they've had.
Yeah.
But people need to track the timeline better. There's no comparisons to Wan-Bissaka. He's a right back that plays in one position. And there was only a little period, February, January last year, when Ten Hag really tried to force Dalot back into the equation. You saw what we all saw what Ten Hag tried to do. Dalot's out of form, injured. He brought him back. He tried to force him back in. Wan-Bissaka's form kept him out. But Ten Hag clearly had a favoritism towards Dalot. Just Wan-Bissaka, he dealt with that situation, but it's one position. With Jadon Sancho, let's really track this properly. Best player in pre-season last year, right wing. The manager signs a right winger. Bad start to the season. He subbed first in damn near every game, couldn't get over an hour. Then he has this 3-month situation. When he comes back, plays left wing, right wing, and number 10. It's not comparable to Wan-Bissaka. It's not the same trying to hold down one position. It's not the same. This pre-season, the false 9 thing was a fad. I'm sure you heard us debating it in Spaces, Jimmy. Some people thought, no, Ten Hag is going to be his plan B. I'm like, no, this is his plan C or D, or no plan. He's wasting the boy's time playing him as a false 9 in pre-season. He's not going to play him there. As soon as Højlund gets fit, he's not going to play him.
You said that in Spaces. I remember you saying that in Spaces.
Because I know the manager's been telling me for a while, he just don't, for whatever reason, his mannerisms, his demeanour, the way he plays football, the way they communicate with each other, which none of us are privy to, he just hasn't taken a liking to the player for whatever reason. That's what I think it is. And yeah, it looks like Ten Hag hasn't said much, but something's happened behind the scenes where Sancho's hearing that and saying, no, I'm not having you say that. You've got to read between the lines. Sancho's saying, no, he's capping. And by the way, Ten Hag's done a lot of capping for a lot of players. Against, was it Forest? What game was it that Maguire was out for? Was it Forest? That Maguire wasn't in the squad for? No, just recently.
Oh, his last game here was literally the last game.
Did anybody believe he was injured? No, but nobody cared. We were happy to be lied to. Dead that situation. Don't tell us that Maguire ain't ready for that game and you don't trust him for that game. Just lie and say he's injured. Just like you've lied multiple times about people being injured. Just like you've kept Malacia's injury a secret. You pick and choose when... Look at the Ronaldo situation. He dealt with that calmly. Didn't say a bad word about the guy. Nothing, nada. Even when he refused to come onto the football pitch, it's an internal matter, we'll deal with it. Done. And he dealt with that with something we saw with our own eyes play out on the bench. So for something that's happened behind the scenes, where I'm sorry, let's keep it real. Like, what you're trying to convince me Martial's been better on the training pitch than Sancho? You're trying to tell me these performances that I've seen, these guys are delivering on the training pitch, and he's not? They've all been shocking for most games. Been decent for half an hour, horrible for the rest. So I'm not buying this. No, I reckon there was... What I think's happened, AG, is they've had a conversation, it didn't go well, a bit like Danny Rose and Jose Mourinho in the Tottenham dock. And he's been dropped from the squad for that reason. Yeah? It's one thing for you not to be in the starting 11 because your performances are not up to scratch. But that's not why he's not in the squad. Something happened as to why he's not in the squad. And that's why Jadon Sancho's calling cap. He's like, no, but that's not the reason I'm not on the bench. There's another reason. And Ten Hag better hope he don't do a sit-down interview and go speak to somebody and start airing out dirty laundry. I think Ten Hag, do you know what it is? Whenever we lose a football match, Ten Hag's go-to always is, they didn't stick to my principles. I have a way of playing. I need to maintain high standards. They need to meet these standards. Right? That's always his go-to, his robotic response when we lose a football match. And I think you're right, Neji. He weren't thinking. He's gone to his usual response. Usually he's in complete control. For a Dutch manager, Ten Hag's pretty calm, actually. I saw someone in the comments say Dutch managers talk wild. Ten Hag hasn't been speaking wild as a Man United manager at all. The person that they described at Ajax that would, rub the media the wrong way, Ten Hag's been dealing with the media brilliantly during his tenure here, in my opinion. Brilliantly. It's just he's read Sancho wrong. Said that, and the player's like, no, I'm going to call you out. And I don't do this right or wrong thing. It is what it is at the end of the day. Sancho, right, has a right to look at his own experience and say, I haven't been given a chance at right wing. You've played me in 3 different positions, and now you play me in my 4th position. Oh, and by the way, since March, nobody's been performing. Nobody has a leg to stand on. You'll play Anthony 6 times in a row, no matter how he plays. You'll play Rashford 5 times in a row. He'll play badly, but because he gets goals, you'll let him off. You played Workhorse 15 games in a row when he stunk the place up. These are facts. These are gripes for a player to have. You'll play Ericsson every game, even though you know you're running him into the ground. If fans can think of these things, you best believe it might come across a player's mind, especially if he doesn't feel like he's getting the opportunities he should be getting. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So what I don't like about this, though, like, even though I don't think Ten Hag should have said what he said, is more so because of what happened behind the scenes, not actually because of what came out. Does that make sense? It's not what he said. It's more so something happened between you and the player, so you shouldn't have said that. Right? At face value, there's nothing wrong with it, but something clearly happened. Sancho's responded, and 4 players speaking up to control their own narrative. The only thing I take a big issue with from both sides is the club leaking shit and now Sancho leaking shit. And it's getting messy in the media. I'm seeing stuff in the Daily Mail. So Anthony's getting opportunities. I'm not. It's okay for me to say it. I don't want your people saying that to the Daily Mail. The football club brief and Ten Hag and the staff have been disappointed in Sancho for a while now. I don't want to see any of that stuff. It should be radio silence. And they should deal with it. And now we've got the international break. He doesn't even have a press conference to deal with it. There's no game to deal with it. It's just going to linger now. So for me, that situation needs to be nipped in the bud, like, as soon as possible. There has to be a resolution. If that's the player going to Saudi, and that's a segue for him to go to Chelsea. If that's
I can see Sancho sneaking an interview somewhere during this international break.
Because for me, trying to rectify this now, like, Ten Hag, you don't suffer fools. Like, if he feels like he's been disrespectful and needs to maintain discipline, he's pretty petty about it. Rashford was 30 seconds late on the bench. What Ronaldo did was pure disrespect. Got suspended for a week or 2, however long it was. You can go back to his time at Ajax, did what he had to do. By the way, this fan base is nasty. All these people digging up this stuff from Dortmund, he was late or got fined for this, fined for that. I've noticed, man, when it comes to players that look like us, the stigma's always attached. You can't do nothing wrong in your career. Because God forbid you fall out with a manager, they'll bring up something from 3 years ago. I don't like that stuff. Just because Sancho may have had issues at Borussia Dortmund doesn't mean Ten Hag's in the right here, or Ten Hag's done nothing wrong. Or, and we have to go there with it. It doesn't mean Sancho's not entitled to feel how he feels about the situation. Cass, you've just jumped in there mid-conversation. Good to see you, by the way. Where you been, man? We've been looking for you, man. We've been selling milk cartons. Made a bit of money as well.
Hey, I stream every day. I took the summer off.
Fair enough. Look, hardest worker in YouTube excuse. Look at this guy. What's your thoughts on this Ten Hag Sancho situation, though?
If you actually watched the interview, he didn't say anything wrong. Like, he got asked a direct question and he answered it, and he didn't answer it with malicious intent, you know. And that's before the whole interview came out. It was just reported by words. So, you know, jump the gun a little bit. If you know what the actual situation is, like, is where it is, isn't it? I know someone very, very close that works on the payroll that does his everyday duties. So I don't really care anymore. So it's just one of them things. I wanted him gone in the summer, but I was happy to see the effort in the summer because he looked better than everybody else. Like anyone and any other player that, like, for me, if I've had a good preseason and I see someone else who's been stinking out getting chosen, I would also kick up a fuss. But that's my personality. But when you lash out on a manager 2 weeks ago, that's when the final straw is being brought on. That's what people don't know, you know. But it is what it is, isn't it? I don't see a way back in for him potentially unless he knuckles down and proves him wrong. I thought maybe this is a time for to get a response out of Sancho. He's called out Van der Beek before, said he's physically not up for the game. He's called out Garnacho before. He's called out Rashford, obviously, a little bit, talking, but that was to do with disciplinary, you know. You know what? It's 350k per week, whether we like it or not. And I know money's not got nothing to do with it. Too tough, but you have to be putting performances up when you came as one of the marquee signings in the summer. And And at the end of the day, Anthony is Ten Hag's player. Sancho isn't. And we all thought that Sancho would be the one to cook under Ten Hag. He's had 3 different managers in his 3rd season, and it's clearly not working, and it's not to the plan. So give someone else a chance. Ahmad's hungry. Ahmad it looks like a proper professional player, young guy with a good head on his shoulders. Pellistri is hungry for his chance, hence why he didn't go out on loan, because he knows there's a potential place and potential time. It is what it is. It's like, I don't know why people are blowing this like it's unknown. Fergie's done this before. Manager's been doing this for years, but why is it because it's Manchester United? That's why.
No, it's because the player responded on social media.
It doesn't matter. To be fair, Ten Hag could have probably done it behind closed doors, but then you go watch the interview, how he said it. It's not really that deep. And and as a professional, you shouldn't really be coming back at the manager. Remember, I always say there's 3 orders to stuff. The club, as a supporter, since we are the working man that funds the club to make it go where it is in the first place, till today, club comes first, manager comes second, but the players third. And for what Mourinho done back in the day, when you think about it logically to how they are today, players been throwing our managers under the bus for way too long. And it ain't going to start here. I hope not anyways.
No, but that don't matter to me. Sancho still has the right to speak up if he wants to. You see me, Cassie, the way I look at it is, like, so long as he's ready to deal with the consequences of that, I'm fine with it. Yeah, so it's like, if you speak up at work and you might lose your job, but you had to speak up and those could be the consequences, you deal with it. It will look like I'm picking a side. I'm not actually picking a side. Yeah. For me, it is what it is. Like, I've been calling this out since November, and people were telling me I had an agenda against Sancho on my timeline in December, in January. I was asking people, when do you get worried? What's the month you get worried if Sancho's not back? Oh, he's going to be a 10. What are you going to say next when he's not the 10? Oh, Sancho's best at right wing, because he had a good game there. What are you going to do at the first opportunity when the manager moves him from right wing to left wing? So you've got Sancho fans being frustrated watching this, and I'm having conversations with them. Imagine how the player feels. For me, I don't agree with this draconian old school players should shut up and dribble. If you want to speak up as a player, speak up, but you've got to back it up and you've got to deal with the consequences. That's just how I look at it. I don't do this. He has to just keep his mouth shut. Like, no, if you want to speak up, speak up. But guess what? The manager now is going to respond in the manager has a right to deal with it as he sees fit now. There's nothing you could do about that. If he suspends you for a week, you've got to hold that. It is what it is for me. More importantly, though, the club need to find a solution now. What's done is done. Yeah. The club has to find a solution. The solution for me is Saudi Arabia and Chelsea. That's the solution. I don't think there's any coming back from this. I think this has been bubbling for a lot. Like, Sancho's responded because this has been bubbling for longer than people realize. And I've been telling you on my timeline, if you follow me on Twitter, you see the out there. I've been telling people, I lied to him. I've been telling people since November. When the club lied and said he was injured, I called bullshit in black and white on my time. I said, this is a lie. He's not injured. So it's been bubbling. That's why if you weren't hip to these things, you won't understand why I have this point of view on it. But if you were hip to the fact that, one, the club is lying and he's not injured, and 2, the manager actually don't really like him, then you wouldn't be surprised Jadon Sancho took the course of action that he did.
Is this about who?
But I'm talking about Sancho.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that what we got? The 3-month injury?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say too much, but without even knowing nobody, I knew they were lying. I called it out. People said I was starting trouble.
You said this first, to be fair, and I think Nady agreed. I remember you said you just don't think Sancho and Ten Hag get along. That's it. And you know what? The thing is, people need to understand that's totally fine.
Yeah,
it happens. It's totally fine.
Facts.
Maybe Sancho needs to go for his own benefit.
Hold on.
Don't know what going there.
I'm so confused.
What's happened there?
I have no idea.
Lost.
Yeah, carry on, though, bro. Carry on, bro.
No, I just feel like Danny was spot on. I just don't think they don't get along. It's simple as that, and that's totally fine.
It's all right.
Some players live and die by the sword, man. It's just Sancho's going to be one of them, and everyone thinks that Man United it's done, innit? It's done at Man United. Like it's all in trouble and everything. But last time we saw this Ronaldo, we bounced back and we went on a winning run. You get the difference, and he made more of a fuss. So I don't really care what people have to say too much. I think this is just normal behavior. You know, a manager falls out with another player. We see it with Cancelo and Pep. Sorry, with Aubameyang and Arteta. We've seen it with so many different situations. It's fine.
To be fair, bro, we were saying it earlier in the stream, like, it's been blown out of proportion. When you give the context of the situation of what it actually is, like, unless you're getting in your feelings and you're being triggered off certain statements and certain comments, which really and truly, if you're a grown-ass man, grown-ass woman, you shouldn't really be in your feels that deep. Like, you've obviously got a lot of healing to do and a lot of personal shit to sort out. The comments weren't degrading. They weren't they didn't have any negative undertones, so therefore the intent was not malicious. That's evident. If you're emotionally mature, you'll be able to understand that. So given that fact that we know that, it's just a case of people getting in their own feelings because they feel it's over the line. But then comparing it to situations you've already compared, Kaz, and obviously Jimmy as well, it's normal, it happens, and you're bang on when you say it doesn't have to work out with a player. You don't have to like a player. Like you said, it's not Ten Hag's player anyway. So he's going to inherit players that he doesn't like. He's going to inherit players that he doesn't potentially want to use. Even if he rates them as a ball, he may not rate them for their system. Whatever the reason, that should be okay. And that should be supported. And like you said, any other club that's out there that has these same situations and issues, it's never raised. It's never, do you know what I mean? It's a case of, oh, this player's gone, like, you move on. Like, think about it. If we had N'Golo Kante at United, yeah, even though he's been injured and everything else, a large section of our fan base, but yeah, we can't let him go to Saudi though, because our best midfielder, because we don't have another 8. We don't have another player who can do what he does. And you'll be getting people going fully in, saying, yeah, Ten Hag's wrong for getting rid of Kante. Chelsea just get rid of Kante, like, yeah, cool in a bit. Man City get rid of Mahrez, like, yeah, cool in a bit. Gundogan or Gundogan. One of the most clutch players in Man City. It's okay to get rid of him and say, we can move on from you for whatever the reason is. And it's okay to have passer. Fergie had bare passer. Hella passer.
You know what's wrong? You know what's wrong, don't you? You two would probably agree. We've got too many players from too many different eras and too many different managers. Yeah. It's like maybe Ten Hag's just trying to make it. So what if he favors Anthony? That's on the manager, bro. He put him in for 85 million. He's going to stick by him. And it's as simple as that. That's okay. Every manager has their favorites. Southgate's the biggest favoritism, if that's even a word, out there.
Oh my God, he's terrible for it. He's so bad for it.
You know what I mean? It's not about, I think, food for thought. It's not about Sancho. There's a bigger picture at play here. It's like, he's clever. Yeah. This is smart. You know what he just did? What Ten Hag just did?
Jurgen Klopp favored Jordan Henderson of all football players.
Yeah, you know what the maddest thing is? It's like Ten Hag knew Sancho was going to respond. And he's showing everyone this is what the mentality of player I still have around the club.
Do you know what? There was a look on his face, like there was a look on his face, almost like not malicious. Sorry. Excuse me, guys.
That's Ten Hag, fam.
Oh,
that was Ten Hag. Trying to call out Jimmy. What? Everyone's got to go now. Is this what it is? It's just me, the Sunshine Show. What going on here, man?
No, I'm back. Oh man, one of those.
You get asked to do a stream and you have to run it on your ones. Safe.
One of those evenings, man. Bloody hell.
But yeah, go on, Jimmy. Sorry, man. You was on the ball there, man.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, you know, there's always, for me, my only thing is I think they should have just found a way to just talk about it behind closed doors. But like Danny said, they probably tried to have 5, 6, 7 conversations. It's not worked out. So this is the final straw, and everyone's right. Players move on sometimes, and you know, unfortunately, if it can't be solved, then there's only one way to do it, and he has to leave the club.
We don't need the money in January. I need a second striker. I think evidence of last game, Marcel's breaking down. He's just not the same player. I want Ivan Toney. Go fund it for me then. It might have to be Sancho for that case. Is what it is. And I think it's totally fine. I don't mind it.
Stylistically as well, from a football principle, strictly, like if he's not fitting what you want, go and get him the next man. Use the money. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's normal. If all of us were managers, for a team and we're in the same situations, and you're inheriting players that, well, for whatever reason, by the way, you're allowed to have whatever reason because you are the main guy. You're the one who's knocking down the hammer when it's necessary. No, no sexual innuendo there. But all I'm saying is, I'm just making sure because last time was mad, crazy different. So anyway, if you're the one pulling strings, it is what it is. Like you get to choose what you want, and if you've got a team or a club that's supporting and backing you, which we don't, but still, if you're in that situation, you can get rid of your player, go get your money, put it into something else. Because if what was right for next man may not be right for you.
Yeah,
and that's how we have to see it.
Yo, before we
go on. You got a super chat. You got a super chat. Go on.
I want to go to Zoe quickly, then I'll read out that super chat. Zoe, let's wrap up the Sancho Ten Hag topic and get to.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. We can hear you.
All right, wicked. Big up everyone, man. Sorry about that. I just had to jump in the car quickly, charge up my phone and that. Do you know what's the maddest thing? When I watched the interview, I don't feel like he's had anything planned in his head. He didn't expect that question. He was like kind of stuttering. He was flustered. He was like, he was thinking of what to say, and in the end, he just said what he told him to his face. So that's the biggest thing. That's why I think Sancho shouldn't have done that statement thing, because the manager's already said this to you face to face. That's just my take on it. I could be wrong. Do you know what I mean? I think if the manager's pulled you and said to you, I don't think you're training good, and they've asked him, he's not gone out of his way to speak about Sancho, then I don't see it as such a big deal, man. Just get your head down and just try harder. That's just my take. A lot of people think I'm wrong, but I think it's a big business. It's a big club, man. You got to just shut up and just work hard. That's just my take on it.
Only reason I disagree is because right wing, left wing, 10, false 9. When you've been moved across 4 positions,
you know,
but do you know what? I've been thinking all day as well. Yeah, do you see that a lot of people that's standing up for Sancho and saying, "Yeah, well done." It's not like he's had chances and taken them. He's not been good overall. Let's have it right. Let's have it right. A lot of people are going on like he demands this.
But Zoe, in that environment,
there's always favoritism, bro.
We know that. But it's where not you necessarily, but fans are hypocrites where they say, "I want to see players picked on merit." That's not how it goes, man. Managers will pick their favorites, and here you have a player who's not only annoyed at the fact he's not one of the favorites, and he's been messed about. He's played in 4 different positions, and like I said, since March, no one's been performing. At the start of this season, nobody's been performing apart from Wan-Bissaka.
But you know what? That's not necessarily true, because I remember during last season, Garnacho come on the scene, and after a while, I said to myself, I think he's taken Sancho's spot.
Garnacho started 5 games.
I remember that. We was in the space also when you said that.
I think so. I was saying I think he has taken his spot, because every time he got a chance, he just grabbed it. Grabbed it.
But he started 5 games. Come on. He started 5 games in the league.
Who had a more impactful season?
And then he got
last
injured.
Season.
Then he got injured.
Who had a more impactful season last season?
Overall, same level. The difference is, what skews the landscape? No. See, this is what skews the landscape is expectation. That's what it's expectation. So Garnacho, cool, winner against Fulham. Sancho, winner against Liverpool. You can think about Sancho's goals against Leicester, Everton. Like, pound for pound, it's the expectation, it's the price tag and the pay packet and the stats of the football player that makes you say Garnacho had a better season. But if you were just to qualify it, just not actually forget the price tag, forget expectation, forget the wages, not too dissimilar.
Me personally,
because I remember having this conversation a month ago.
Me personally, I remember watching them last season and say Garnacho has claimed that spot now. You've got another man that you've got to fight with.
Okay, and at the start of this season, he played twice, and both times underwhelmed.
And he was horrible. Yeah, he was horrible.
So if you're Sancho and you've been calmed out. Oh, wait.
Sorry.
Hold on, Zoe.
I should have stated before I said all of that during pre-season and when the season started, I thought Sancho had done enough and to earn a spot to be starting in them games.
Exactly. And
I do understand why he's fuming, but still, I just think he said it to your face. Just head down, work hard.
This is the to quote Neji, the nail in the hammer, or the hammer and the nail, and all of that. Yeah. Pause.
Man.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna pause it. I knew it.
Had to be done, bro. Had to be done.
I knew you were gonna pause it.
Pause.
Martial, no preseason, barely fit, starts ahead of him.
I disagree with that. That's foul. I believe that's not nice. But obviously, we
All
know
I'm
this
saying
already.
is, I
He don't
understand.
rate him. He
No,
don't
no,
rate
no,
him.
no, no.
We-
All I'm saying is, I get why Sancho did what he did. Sometimes somebody can do something wrong, but you understand why they did it, and that's what football fans struggle with.
No, but I'm not letting you have that, cause I'll tell you this. I don't understand why Ten Hag has done what he's done. Not the statement to the public, no, but to leave him out of the squad. I don't understand that, because we all know he don't like Maguire, shipped him of his captaincy. There's a couple man that he don't rate. He will still put them in the squad. And when it's asked about him in the media, he's an important part of my squad. He's an important part of my squad. He's done it with Ronaldo. He's done it with Maguire. So something must have happened. So we only know one side, and we're just seeing it like this. So why has he done that and not to Maguire and not to Ronaldo?
That's a good point.
And
He will
that's
bench people.
Especially when them lot have
He-
had
Anzo,
he
I'm
will
gonna end
bench
it on this.
people.
I'm gonna end it on this because the super chat. I'm just gonna say this, innit? Spill the tea, injury hiatus, 3 months break, bro. Us little man need to be in the loop as well. But yes, Sancho is gone, 55 mil plus selling clause. Good luck with that. I've got low expectations of this situation being resolved. I'll be honest with you. I think it's gonna be a mess. All I will say is this: you just need to read between the lines. Just read between the
Something's
lines.
gone on, man.
The problem is
Something's
that
gone on.
mess. Though, that
And-
mess starts trickling down into the squad, and it becomes.
man.
You know what I mean?
Listen, he's dealt with bigger problems, but I want to move on to some other topics. I want to discuss. Let's discuss the game. No one's talking about the game. I thought we were going to get slapped. I thought Arsenal were going to play us off the park. I thought we were going to get dominated. That's not what happened.
That didn't happen. I'm not having it from no one.
That's not what happened.
That's not what. The last time we went to Emirates, yeah, you could say that, but that's not what happened. I'm not gonna have that. People were saying, "Oh, you're getting hype." I'm not saying we was good, but I'm saying it was a decent performance. Decent means decent. Do you know what I mean? We didn't get battered. So yeah, man. I think there was a lot of overreacting after that game.
I think when you lose to Arsenal in that manner, like my head was hot. I barely saw the third goal go in. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, same.
Fine margins.
Like I was already, when you're walking away from the TV and you're like, oh, there's a third. Oh, fucking hell. And I've just gone back out of the room. Do you know? I was already on my way out of the room and I've just left. I didn't even watched it back. I don't know what happened. I just saw Jesus finish. I ain't watched it back because it's Arsenal. It's Arsenal. Other than Liverpool, there's one team I got proper venom for, and it's Arsenal Football Club. So that was a tough one to take. Jimmy, what was your thoughts on the game overall? In fact, what was your thoughts on the game before we lost it at the end?
No, I thought we were playing fine. I mean, there was too much passing at times for my liking, just because the recycling was a little bit too much. We were just recycling the ball for the sake of it sometimes when we didn't have to. So it just meant we were passing it around.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're just passing it around our own side.
Let me put this to you though. Do you not think that we took the sting out of the game by doing that?
No, that's what they were trying to do. I know that was the whole purpose. I think that was very specific instructions. I think so. Because with Arsenal, if they don't have the ball, they can't hurt you. So it's that kind of thinking behind it. I think so. He was deliberately doing that. It's just from a fan's perspective, it's frustrating because the ball's not going forward enough times, in any given space of time. So it was a little bit frustrating to watch. But I don't think we were dominated the way that the media have reported it. It's like, oh, Arsenal completely dominated Manchester United, and that's just not what I saw at all, personally.
Hey, Neji. In fact, let me just appreciate the super chat, Barry Haynes. Appreciate that. Loss has amplified the overreaction. I believe we played with a plan, executed it well. One offside decision away from having an entire different conversation.
Yeah.
I saw enough to know we will be fine. Appreciate the optimism, man.
Yeah.
That's a great
Oh
super
yeah,
chat.
oh yeah. Can I quickly add something else? Onana, great.
Mm.
Like an extra. He was like an extra centre back.
Yeah, he had to be.
He actually showed that we can play different with him in goal.
Mm.
I know that was a question going around. A lot of people said it was false. He's only a keeper. He's only a key. If you watch that game and you didn't see that, then I don't know what you was watching. But he showed me something I've not seen us do. The centre backs, the full backs, they trusted him so much.
So much, yeah.
And then he would just go inside to Ericsson or Casemiro and they would just pop it first time
That
left or right,
no, no,
left or right.
no.
That,
You know
You
how I
know,
like
describe it? Do you know how I
like
describe it?
it's
He
just so
backed
much trust.
Arsenal. No, he backed Arsenal down. That's how I describe it. 50 back down. That's Onana's theme song. Yeah, he backed Arsenal down. Now, this is why I have faith in what Ten Hag is doing to a degree, because I know if he gets a centre back who can carry the ball and a better right back, I already know what type of pattern's running out from the back. I already know. It's just we needed Onana and those two components as well. And we didn't get them. But I agree with you, Jimmy. I thought we did okay. I thought we were okay, and I thought Arsenal were decent. I thought they were. I thought when they got going, you could see the quality. You can see that they've got a higher level of familiarity and better quality in the final
Familiarity
third.
is a word. That's the word. That's the word
Yeah.
I was going to use. Familiarity. They
Um,
know each other so well. That's the main thing with them.
But there were big gaps between those sequences of sustained pressure from them, and a lot of the time there's no end product. Martinelli's overhitting crosses. Dalot defensively, by the way. Listen, I'm not Dalot's biggest fan. I remember him cooked by Dan Juma.
He was
against
great.
Villarreal.
He was great.
But he was excellent defensively.
He
And
was really good.
I've always said at left back, I see no difference. He is a left back option. That's why I thought we could have got a fullback this season in the summer. But anyway, Neji, your thoughts on the game? Before and we're going to get to the refereeing decisions because they were disgusting. I might get some up on Wisecout actually. But what was your thoughts on the game before, it ended 2 and then 3-1?
I predicted a 2-1 win for United, to be fair. That was my prediction. And that was my honest prediction as well, not biased, honest.
That was mine as
taking
well,
into
AG.
account. Say again?
Yeah. That was mine as well. I had the same prediction.
Yeah. I didn't understand that. I try my best to understand people's point of views, and when I ask questions, I only ask for understanding, even if it does come across quite blunt and forward, because in order for me to be able to challenge something, I need to understand something respectfully. And if I cannot challenge it, then I ain't going to, because I can see logic. So that was my trail of thought, and I didn't understand why fans thought that we were going to get absolutely plastered and swept over. And I think sometimes you can overanalyze things to a point where you actually confuse yourself about what's actually going on at the club and what Ten Hag's trying to do. I think every performance that's happened up until this stage has got better. The results don't always reflect performances, so please don't, if you're watching or listening to this, please don't get the two confused in the sense of a performance means a result. And so talking specifically performances from the first opening day, shocking performances as we know. Second game, yes, Tottenham, I felt we did enough. But again, my own theory, a case of not having the strikers, not having clinical forwards and finishers kind of allowed us to get complacent and then panic. But doesn't take away from the actual performance that we've been able to show that we can do enough. So going away to Arsenal, yes, it's a much bigger game, much more pressure. I thought that was one of our best performances out of the season so far. On top of that, I already predicted for me personally that Arsenal were going to have this inflated confidence, and rightly so, and United wouldn't be able to play the Ten Hag way, which most people are accustomed to. So it was a case of when you play away from home, and you'll see it with many teams that are confident, that are structured and know what they're doing, they will soak up that pressure, because the first thing we always say is quieten it down the crowd 24/7. You have to make them quiet and then get them on the counter if you can, shut the crowd up. We managed to do that, and a lot of people were nervous, but we grew after about 15, 25 minutes again, which, to be fair to Arsenal, normally when you go away, it's normally 10, 15 minutes maximum where they're throwing heat. And then you can kind of get the balance in the game. They kept it going for a long time. So for me to see the resilience from Manchester United in that phase was absolutely perfect for me personally. So that's the part where I thought, okay, we settled now. They've given us a lot of heat. They're struggling. Even though they're making some little chances and errors, they're winding themselves up because they're not clinical. They're struggling. So I get to the stage now where we go and score, and I'm thinking we're patterning this. We've nullified them for the first 20-25 minutes. Then the game's balanced out. Rashford's then gone and being clinical at the time we needed him to be clinical. Everyone else was clinical at the time they needed him to be clinical. It's like, this is a proper away performance. This is what you do. So for me, I'm seeing progress. Yes, I feel all the nerves. Yes, I feel all the frustrations throughout the games and the small little details. But overall, I'm noticing I'm calm. Then it comes down again to the same case of we switch off as soon as we've gone and scored. A mentality issue. We're not very good at this moment in time at being up and being up and confident and then maintaining something after that little pressure moment. We're not good at doing that. It's happened too many times for us, so I can say that with chess. Now, again, it went to 1-1. We didn't slack. We didn't fall off. We come back out second half, and we go and dominate. In my opinion, the best part of 15-20 minutes in terms of the whole half that we had. In that 15-20 minutes, Arsenal came with their threats, but we nullified them a lot easier, and Arsenal were looking weaker. Then we go and get that break, and Højlund was absolutely beautiful when he came on. That little flip that he did, it was sauce on sauce. And then we're going to get into the offside thing in a second, but I'm seeing the goal going off 2-1. I'm thinking, Mandem, that's what you do when you play away.
But
so to me, the performance was beautiful. Go on, bro.
Neji, but what you see about the performance, yeah? So, like, I think it's one of our better performances this season. I like the Forest performance out of all of them, to be honest. I think we was good in that game, but I like that game good also. And this is what I want to know, because it's like, are Arsenal a good team and Arteta a good coach or not? Because a lot of people,
I think Arsenal.
Because you know what it is, Neji? A lot of people that will discredit us for that Arsenal game will rate Arsenal and rate Arteta. Do you know what I mean? So
that's because of the result.
They didn't batter us. I think the result flattered them, bro. I think the result flattered them in that game.
Bro, listen. All I will say, is one, credit to Arteta, credit to Arsenal. I don't think they're as great as the fans will lead you to believe, but I think they just mean they're shit. I think they're good. They're very good. And when even if it's, again, self-proclaimed hype, whatever it is, they've got that energy with them. Whether you like it, it's up to them to lose it. And we went there with a shitty away record where even our own fans thought we were going to get peppered. And we came out and did something completely different. Now, yes, Arsenal or Man United could have deserved either 3 points or a draw. Genuinely, and that's based on performance-wise. But even the Arsenal that turned up didn't look amazing. That's not because they were off it. That's because Ten Hag got it right, in my opinion. Yeah. And so that's why I look at the performance and go, no, we actually shut it down. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree with you. The 3-1 is flattering on the eye. We've had many games like that where the scoreline makes it look like you got absolutely peppered and battered. And like I said at the start of my analysis, don't confuse performance with the result.
Can we highlight other things before we move on to the goal as well?
Yeah. Do you, bro? Do you, man?
I think we got an issue with, and he was injured, to be fair, but Varane. See, today, I think yesterday, I kind of realized for what we want to do, Varane can't be in the picture. Too tough, yeah? Bit awkward on the ball. But Lindelof, however, allows us to do things. Yesterday, he was having a phenomenal game. He's done his job.
He had a good game,
Done his job. He had done more than job. The only thing with Lindelof is the only thing I can criticize Lindelof is too passive, and I don't think it's going to get highlighted. There was many times where Anthony's screaming for the ball where you can cut open. So you know the midfield where we kept passing it round and round and round.
What brilliant game did Lindelof have?
No, I thought for what we wanted to do, he was calm and composed, especially when Wan-Bissaka was coming up.
I've never seen somebody get so much praise for doing nothing, man.
No, he done what he needed to do on the edge of the box. Whose man was that, by the way?
No, do you know what I saw? Do you know what it is with Lindelof? Every single time I saw him get the football, all I saw was a bit like Varane. Man, if somebody could actually carry the ball and was brave, we'd open up the game here and we play forward. And all I saw him do was overuse Onana. And don't get me wrong, Onana backed.
That's what I was trying to say to allude to. Everything else was calm.
Lindelof isn't just passive defensive.
I'm in agreement with Kaz, to be fair, because even last season,
for me, his quality on the ball,
amazing, man.
Lindelof don't
Amazing
show
player.
his quality on the ball. He don't show his quality on the ball enough for me. He doesn't
Yeah.
show it enough. He's
But that's
very-
what I mean. That's but I didn't say passive defender. I mean passive in general. That's what I said. We held the width many times. Anthony was in the situations where he was holding it and he was asking for it, and that to a point where Anthony was holding the width at some point and he got bored. Like he should have. There's one chance where he finally got flicked over to him by Lindelof, but he's offside because he
Yeah.
never get used. The thing is, he was always waiting for Wan-Bissaka rather than doing the cutting edge kind of thing. And obviously, Delo, that for me, that's Delo's best performance I've seen in the Man United shirt, without a doubt. And it was a shame that defensively, but it was a shame every time I remember every time he's giving it to Eriksen and Delo tried to get up the pitch a little bit, we couldn't sustain it in the final third. Meaning, what you're doing? Just go back, man. What's the point? Wait for Rashford to come double up on Saka because it's working.
Can't even lie, boys. Yeah, that first half for me, Dalot, I wasn't happy with because you're playing away. There's pressure there. That header that falls to Havertz. Don't know what that clearance was in the box, which he dropped straight at Havertz's feet, and obviously, luckily, it was Havertz. We're already 1-0 down from that. If that goes in, that's a big mentality shift that we're going to need to go in. Obviously, luckily, it didn't. So I rate Dalot, and this is why I'll give him credit. Dalot's second half. Like, some people have to redeem themselves. For me, Dallow's second half redeemed his first half. Because even in the first half, going forward on the attack, when we had our first break, he breaks down the left. All he had to do, I think it was a 3-on-3 situation, and 4 including him dribbling with the ball. All he has to do is ping it into Eriksen, real sloppy pass. And that's the first break that we needed. Now, if you think about playing away, yeah, and you don't get many chances away, especially at Arsenal, especially with your record. Those are key moments for me. They become key moments. So that first half, for me, was absolute. In my opinion, I thought he had a 5 out of 10. And I was thinking, we need to get him off at left back. That was me because I'm thinking, I don't know how many chances we're going to get in the game. And as we saw, we didn't get that many. But when we were clinical. So for me, the second half, Dalot was so important. It was like the first half got forgotten about. I'm just putting the whole game into context going, I don't think he was elite, but he did enough to rectify his mistakes in the first half, in my opinion.
You know who needs to
You know
step
what
up
it was,
a little bit as well, though, is Lissandro.
He was, one
Lissandro
second.
for me,
He was
man.
just, defensively, he was excellent. On the ball, he was poor. That's all it was. That's all it was for me. He's just
Lissandro needs
poor
to
on the
do more,
ball.
though, man. Lissandro needs to do
All right,
more.
let's get into that run, Danny, man.
I know you want to get into that. Yeah,
What's
Lissandro.
with you in this run, Elzo? What's with you in
You know
this
what, Cass?
run?
Hold that thought, Cass, because you know what I'm going to do, Cass? I'm going to find examples of what I know you want to speak about with Lissandro. I'm confused about... this shows you, yeah? You know when you get confused about certain takes you hear, right? You get confused about certain things you see people say. It's just based on the player, whether they like the player, rate the player or not. It's just evident to me. Sorry, my wife's cat's glitching. It's not playing the video. Hold on. I'm waiting for this to catch up. Then I'll get into this example. But that Rashford Højlund situation, it's just blatantly obvious to me. The best run was the underlap. That's the most dangerous run he could have made in that situation.
To more Rashford side.
Yeah, it's just an underlap.
Yeah.
Just a basic underlap. I don't know why it's such a contentious, but it just shows you've got people that would claim, you guys are just defending Rashford, you're not being objective. I'm like, no, you see everything that happens on the football pitch as a battleground to remind people Rashford's low IQ.
Do you know what's so crazy? People are saying that I'm protecting Rashford. Rashford's not really my guy like that, to be honest. And no one's really my guy like that. Fred's gone, man. Big up Fred, man. But yeah, man. So I'm just saying it was just obvious. And the maddest thing, he's actually left-footed as well.
Wait, what are you on about? What run are you talking about? The one where Højlund should have went front post rather than the back post?
Yes. And people were saying that Rashford.
For me, that was just the wrong run. And to be fair, I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny. He should. Most strikers run across the box and they will open up a gap for Anthony was free. But the thing is, even when Højlund was doing what he was doing, I saw where you see Rashford's position. Anthony was still free. He could have flicked it. You know what's the best example? Look at Mo Salah, yeah, when he played against Aston Villa. Not same situation, but guess what he done? He done outside the boot and just picked out someone back post. And then he scored from it. Was it Nunes that missed or something like that? In the was it the first half, the second half? Right, in the second half. It's just little things like that. Then after he looked up and saw, I don't know if there's much of option. He tries to take on 3 man. You know what Martinelli would have done in that situation? Like he was trying to do to Wan-Bissaka all game. Take it down to the byline and cause an issue. Remember when he done that flip flap to Ben White? Guess what? It caused an issue. So why are you not causing more issues? Here, it's 3 against 3. There's no reason why you shouldn't be driving into that box. To be fair, Saliba's fast. Yeah, but it's here. This is it for me, man.
You know what it is? Like it is in full HD, by the way, yeah. But if you look at him,
that's where they're telling me that he should have passed it there. That's where they're telling me.
No, but
listen,
what's interesting here?
Only someone like Messi is picking it up in that tight space and doing something with the ball at that pace.
Let me try and not get copyrighted. 1, 2. He's not even looking. So this is what people are missing. And by the way, Højlund, he's looking now, right? And Rashford's getting ready to slow down. So when he slows down, look at all of this. Look at all. I can't believe people think the best run is the one to the back post.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Because if he
drags away Tomiyasu there, Anthony's free. And you know what? Guess what? If he decided to pass to Højlund and Højlund could have squared it as well. It's an easy tap in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just the wrong run, man.
Ben White. Sorry, not Ben White. Ramsdale. Listen, he can anticipate what he wants. And listen, I don't know if Rashford makes the pass. All I know is the best run here is not that. And look at it now.
I mean, it's a wrong run.
I'm genuinely confused about. And by the way, like, what's he supposed to do? Bend it round these two for Højlund to do what? What's Højlund going to do?
This is the thing, Danny. Yeah, if you just go back about five seconds before that, yeah. So obviously, at this point, Saliba's obviously is that Saliba next to him? He's focused on Rashford. So Højlund has already got a step up on the trailing. I don't know who that looks like Rice. He's already got a step up on my man. So if he runs literally in the run that you're saying, he literally ultimately takes out 2 man. Rashford, as we know, can cut in, has got the feet for it. That leaves my man who's centre back just in front of Anthony, isolated, and the other one trailing. Anthony's already going to have the space to get in the back post. So it's literally, as you man are saying, a tapping.
Højlund did wrong there. He didn't look to what was happening on his right hand side rather than
wait.
He only looked at once.
You can see now. Look, he's not looking. He's not.
He's not looking at both angles either. He should be seen.
I'll play it full speed because you see him. He looks there, and then now this is the problem. It's this little details. Yeah, Rashford is now slowing down so he can make a pass, but Højlund's not looking at him. He's not looking at him. Right,
he only has to thread that pass on the corner of the box. That's what he would have had to do.
I want to show people something, yeah, because this ain't an agenda. Like anybody at me on Twitter, DM me on Twitter. I'll send you my notes from August 6th. In fact, better yet, forget that. I'll show you this. Yeah, you can see when this playlist was created. Where was it? H9. Yeah, 37 minutes. I've got a crazy Højlund playlist. Yeah, and in the first example, because I was arguing with Indiana and Voice in the space about his channel running. I don't class him as a channel runner because for me, channel runners don't pass up the opportunity to run in the channel. There's no simpler way for me to put it. He prefers to stay central. I've noticed this about the boy. I've just noticed it when I was just trying to learn about him. Give me 1 second. I don't want to get copyrighted here. I want to get to the right moment. This should be the right example. Okay, here we go. So Atalanta recovered the ball, right? And I want to show people this. So people who are just big channel runners, strikers, centre forwards, yeah? Look at the space between the centre back and the fullback. Look at that space. And I'm going to show you what he does, yeah? Once it bloody plays, give me a second. Let me come off camera. Watch what he does. He comes to link play, yeah? And little nice touch here. That's the type of guy he is. He's not going to run into the channel. He either link play like that, or I've got so many examples of this.
Wait, is the video playing, by the way? Because I can't see now playing.
Oh, did you not see it play?
It's not running. No. It's not running, bro.
Hold on.
It's not running on this side.
Is it not running? You guys missed that? Yeah. Let me know in the comments if you can see it. I'll play it again. Hold on.
Yeah, not on a go on, Bridgman.
Oh, don't try and copyright me with audio. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's playing for me. Is it not playing for you guys?
No.
All right.
As soon as you come on camera, that was it. Now it is, I think.
Yeah, it's shifted screen now. that image switch up, but no
Oh,
more.
there's a
Pause, though.
mad delay. I don't know why there's such a big delay. Like, it's ready for me.
Pause.
Pause.
Do you want me to log in or something and run it through my computer?
Not ready. Not running now.
Not really, no.
Why is it frozen for you, man? That's
You
mad.
might just have to refresh it or something.
I think we got the mental image though. Obviously, you can see the fullback in the space. So
let me know
try
in
to
the
describe
comments
it
if you
whilst you're
can
setting
see it or not. Because I don't want to refresh and then it messes up the whole.
The thing is, I like that Hoyland stays centrally though. I think that's what we need, regardless.
Yeah.
Because I look at the way Ten Hag wants to play. Think of the attacking mids. I'll revert back to the first and second game, with the high centre mids. That's for Bruno, or let's say in hindsight, Mount or another centre mid to run into to cause that space, to cause the overload. Slowly but surely,
he'll be more successful centrally as well because his hold up play is amazing. He's so strong. I think he'll be successful.
And he likes to take, and don't get me wrong, he likes to take a guy. I saw it against Gabriel twice. He likes to take a guy on, man.
Oh,
and
he does. Yeah, he does.
He got wrestled down.
Yeah, he's actually quite decent with his touches and opening chances for himself, and that's what you need in a striker, like an ability not just to have chances created for you, but to be able to shift your own man and make something of it yourself.
He's scoring against Brighton. With the way that Van Heck likes to play, or whatever the hell his name is, I'm telling you now, he's definitely buried him because that guy's.
Yeah, he's gonna bully him. And the thing is, as well, if your problem is a striker, right? Not only is it a case of I can nullify Ten Hag's system to some extent, but now you've got a striker that can actually give defenders individual problems in central areas, whether they don't know whether to leave him or stick tight to him, which then either, if you stick tight to him, it's going to create the overlaps and overloads for your Mounts and your Brunos and your wider players.
This is why
it's going to be a case of we have to let him go.
This is why I don't want to judge Anthony and Rashford too tough yet, because I want to see what they do with an actual striker and see if it benefits them as well to give them more space. That's my thing.
But what I did, in case anyone doubt, this is from August like 6th. So for a month, I've known about him making that run. Let me go to what I was compiling the other day from the thread, because I've got more of them in here. And I'll just going to highlight these things that he likes to do in transition. And I'll make this bigger so you guys can see it. Like, he prefers to... Remember Van Persie used to pull on the last defender before making his run on the blind side? This is what he likes to do. Like, he'll pull... Then he'll delay his running behind. That's what he likes. His first thought is always, there's a last centre-back. All right, I'm going to pull on him. Yeah? Good double movements there. There's so many examples of this. People just aren't familiar with him. And because they're familiar with Rashford having low IQ in their opinion, watch him here. This is another good example. Watch this. Watch him. No, look at, what do you think his first thought is here? They've recovered the ball. I'm going to let this play for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3. Look at his first thought. It's to move away. He's got no... You see what I'm saying to you? Like, channel runners don't pass this up.
No, they don't. They were running ages. He's trying to take away the centre back for the guy who's running behind him to get the space.
Like, channel runners don't pass. They're selfish. They don't pass this up. So I'm saying to you, I let this go again. And what he likes to do is he wants to pull to the back post before eventually coming to the near post. I don't want to get copyrighted. This attack dies down. He can't even make the run he wants to make. He ends up on his flat-footed. This is how Højlund plays. And this ain't a criticism of Højlund. It's just how he plays football. You'll see him in this situation. Where is he? At the back post. It's what he likes to do. He'll pull on the last defender. And you'll see him there and watch what he does from here. Yeah, look, you see that little movement he wanted to make, but the ball didn't come. Then he just checked his run. Right, he's looking for the cut back there. It's just what he likes to do, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just what he likes to do.
Well, if you got when you think about it, if you got inverted wingers like Rashford or inverted forwards, he's gonna have to start making those runs because otherwise it won't work. It'll be too many 1v1 situations unless Bruno gets involved more in the attack. That's why I saw Bruno close to Martial yesterday. Like, if you not noticed, every time you set up against the away team, Bruno's always high up the pitch. Always high up the pitch.
I like this though. I like this. Like, but I always try to tell people he plays central, man. I don't get this channel runner thing. Like, and he'll wait as well. I'm gonna delay this and delay this and delay this. I don't want to get copyrighted. So I apologize for the pauses. He'll wait. So he checked his run because he wants to. Once he gets through the two centre backs or centre back and a full back, he's trying to shoot. He's not trying to dribble at people or end up. He's not. You know, Martial's happy to face up the defender. That's not what he's making runs for. He's making runs so when he gets the ball, he can shoot. That's what he's doing.
I want to see the shot.
I can go back. That's the one that went to the crossbar. Have you not seen the comps? You should know what goal that is.
Yeah. I kind of remember.
Have you not seen the comps? So I'm going to go back to this one because there's more examples. And this one is countless. I've got countless. I'll beat you over the head with these examples. People think I'm capping. It's just Rashford defense.
Oh.
It's just. What do you mean? What? Why are you pausing it? Why is it a pause? Yo, why are you pausing me? I want to know. Can you hear me, though?
I can hear you.
Yeah, why is it a pause?
What are you beating over the head, man?
I hope that Buddha like literally clips that for you as well. You know, like hope you clip yourself and put it on Twitter, fam.
My bad, I'm getting confused with these examples. Let me see if I can find another one, man. Trying to find another one for you, man, quickly. But this weren't planned in it. I just thought. But that Rashford one, I don't even know what people are talking about, man. What did he do in this example? I'm trying to remember. Hold on. Did he run into the channel here? What did he do? Oh, let me have a look. Yeah, this guy just stays central, man. I'll give you an example like this here. He's a channel runner, right? When they recover the football, he's off camera, yeah? Look, they recover it here. The guy's, you know what I like about him? He's a vocal point. He'll always be central. And in these situations, this is when he'll run and dribble into the channel. Right, he's happy to do that, but listen, don't expect much Emperor.
That was awful, man.
Yeah,
that was awful.
Don't watch that. Don't watch that.
That was nasty. I didn't like that.
But Zoe, that's where he's raw. You know where he's not raw? Where he's not raw. Let me go back to the Fred one.
Probably his movement inside the box, though.
No, where he's not raw, this is where Højlund's not raw. Yeah, is this stuff. This is where he's not a raw football player. Yeah, it's into his feet like this. Yeah, he's not raw. Yeah, he's neat and tidy here. He's not raw. That's what I try to explain to people. My bad, I keep zooming in and zooming out, but Y-Scout's weird, innit? It's different for me than it is for you guys, innit? When I zoom in and out. Very, very different. I'm gonna leave that there though, because I'm getting mad delays on my thing. It's actually frustrating me. I'm not on my normal setup. But what did you guys think though of Højlund's debut? And you excited about him?
You know what is, yeah? When he did come on, no one can sit here and tell me that there wasn't a difference. It's only until Lindelof and that came off. Even Maguire to a degree, even when he come on, yeah. Maguire didn't play bad. His body positioning still pisses me off. The way he opens his body up is so frustrating. But he was making our attack go a little bit further up the pitch. That's what I was thinking. Like, he's holding up the ball and he's bringing players into the game. It's just the only issue is that you've got limited time now because you couldn't do that from the start of the. You couldn't do that at the start of the game because you obviously didn't start. So, but you could definitely see that he's bringing Anthony more into the game. Him and Anthony were linking. I like his and Anthony were linking up quite decently, and he was given a lot of space for Bruno to do some Bruno things. That's why we created like 2-3 attacks in the space of what was it, like 8 minutes? And
he's a vocal point. You need a vocal point up front. You need someone to be busy.
Vocal with the F.
Listen, where I'm from is vocal still.
It's vocal.
It's vocal.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's promising, isn't it? You can definitely see the difference he's making. Like Marcel don't make those sort of runs to push the line back. You know what I mean? So he just don't have it in his game no more.
You don't battle centre backs either.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Why Ten Hag likes Haller and all them, the people that can impose their body and still, and even Haller, like if you go watch his Ajax, he even made some selfless runs, just to push the line back, meaning more space for the midfield. It's just we didn't get to see obviously enough of it, and then obviously when Evans had to come on Lindelof, that was it. Our progressive play was finished. It was done. No one expected full fifth choice centre back to come on against Arsenal. I saw Danny at 90 minutes. I saw Arsenal fans calling out Arteta. I should have screenshotted all of them, but that's just long. I ain't got time. I'm 27 years old. Bro, there was tweets out already thinking how we drop points to Man United. No, Arteta, this is not good. This, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. You know what it is, though? Like, when Man United weren't performing but got the result, people were so quick to jump on a bandwagon that Man United got a result that they didn't deserve. But when it comes to Arsenal now, when Man United did put on a good away performance to nullify the electric Arsenal, since they wanted this 4-3-3 with Zinchenko in that back, they're quickly to point the finger and say, nah, like we deserve this. I'm like, since when?
Do you know what it is? It's what I've noticed is it's credibility.
Tribalism.
No, it's credibility. If you play good football for 6 to 9 months straight, people go on mute. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
That's literally all it is. You just need to beat people over the head, pause, with fluid football for a sustained period, and people will leave you alone, and you'll get the pass for these type of results. When it's here and there, people will erase the good performances. But I was saying this today in a space. Cool, Tottenham played good football against Burnley. We did that last season against Leicester. We didn't get ratings for it. We did that at home against Brentford. We didn't get ratings for it. In fact, we did it at home a lot. Played good football. No ratings for it because it's against Forest. You can't get credit for that. The rules are different for Man United Football Club. Everybody knows this. The rules are different for us. We need to overachieve and overdo it.
Strong hero for that game, though. Yeah, I always slate him for his away games, but yesterday, really liked Eriksen, man. The way he imposed himself a little bit. It was much better. It was much better. Just positional sense. He got us out a lot of sticky situations.
Facts. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Kaz. I'm glad you said that. I said yesterday he had one of the best. It was one of his best games that I've probably seen from him, especially defensively and positionally. The amount of times that he won 50-50s and the amount of times he won his duels on the edge of our area to start attacks wasn't spoken about enough. And given the fact he gets slayed for it, see the
Ødegaard cutting thing? The only thing I was slating for is the fact that when there was defenders and they cut it back, that's where Eriksen should have been. Casemiro was marking Havertz. Leave that to Lindelof and Meyerman and Delo. They had it covered. Delo had the back post covered a lot. That's the only thing there. I was like, you didn't need to be that far back. Ødegaard was free. But every other time, when Ødegaard tried to do that left foot thing, he wasn't like, he's like, nah, I'm not.
Yeah, he wasn't finding Nish Batty, bro.
Saka scored in last season at the Emirates. So it's all to play for, man. I can't wait. Amrabat's gonna come in and hopefully make these away performances.
I was gonna ask you, man, that question actually about Amrabat. Did you guys see how he's gonna improve the team? Did you see specifically what he's gonna bring?
I see Amrabat dropping with Casemiro, obviously, because Mount's out. But when Mount comes back, I see Amrabat taking over Casemiro and being phased in with Mount in, for the simple fact that the profile of Mount, not the talent or the quality, the profile of him in terms of what he does specifically for the system of what Ten Hag wants, it would work better with the balance having Amrabat in Casemiro's position. That doesn't mean Casemiro is dead or he's finished. That just means profile-wise, I can see where it's going. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. It could be a case of Casemiro stays. He then plays Amrabat and switches either Mason Mount and Amrabat, or even switches Bruno and Mason Mount. It could be either one. It depends on the combinations. Either way, I'd welcome any of those because I think Bruno does need a rest every now and then, and it is okay to give him those games off. But that I see more balance. I definitely see more balance.
I watch Amrabat a lot. I watched him a lot.
Yeah.
I watched Fiorentina, a possession-based team that plays a high line.
I've watched about 5 games now so far. Just like 4 games of him, just to see him.
The thing is, he's got passing range as well. So there's nothing, he can spot a pass easy. The thing is, what we lacked yesterday was a strong ball carrier, and where that kind of nullified us was Declan Rice, a strong ball carrier. That's what we got now, and a progressive passer at that, and a guy that has relentless energy. I can see Amrabat being used in the first phase and let Casemiro be high up the pitch. What is something that goes over people's heads this season? We're top of the table when it comes to winning the ball back in the opposition half. Don't be surprised if you see Casemiro higher up, winning back the ball and just giving it and going it, and then Amrabat swaps with Casemiro.
On a little side note, no, it's funny. Them man is saying I don't see what Ten Hag's trying to do. I'm saying that's literally his foundation.
This is what I'm saying. When Kobe Mino comes back, again,
don't.
The exact same thing he was doing in pre-season is the exact same thing he's going to do now that he's got Amrabat. And when Amrabat comes in, his partner is going to be, his understudy will be Kobe Mino. And you know, you've been calling him for the longest? That man right there. He's been on Kobe Mino's case, and I know he's only.
Yeah, he has been. I know he's been. When we get them both back, so we get Kobe Mino and Amrabat and Casemiro and Eriksen and Bruno, and they're all fit
options.
to play. What's your midfield?
It will be seniority. So it will be, for me, it's Amrabat, Casemiro, and Bruno Fernandes. Mason Mount needs to know what he's going to be, and you're going to be a utility player. He should be swapping over for Bruno Fernandes, or in a game where you need a goal and you need to sacrifice something. Utility player, and that's totally fine for me. And if he's happy to play that role and chip in, I'm happy for that too. Because I saw Bruno play 6,000 minutes last season. That's too much. That's too much. He's nearly 29. He's coming up to 29 years old in a few days.
Especially if you want him to give you 7s and 8s every week.
You see Bruno drop off towards the end of the season all the time. But the thing is now is we can have two of the same profile type player, a hybrid type 8 you can pick up in the first phase, and Kobe Maiano and Amrabat. So our build-up play should be a lot better, and it should help out Varane a lot, and it should help out Casemiro a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. This whole 1-4 thing, that we never done that in pre-season. He switched up as soon as Kobe got injured. That's why it was awful.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see more of what we saw against Arsenal, but this time obviously with fit players. Because if we did have our fit players, like I said, on that day that we selected, we win. I can't lie, we win that game on another day, easy.
Yeah,
it was a shame. It was a shame that our partnership came off, because I think that would have definitely the tide was turning until Lissandro came off, and then obviously I don't know what it was with Lindelof, but he was really ill. Apparently, he got like a mad headache.
I think Lissandro coming off, I think it just takes away a level of confidence as well defensively, not just from the defenders, also from the midfield.
Do you know what Lindelof was ill with?
Yeah,
go on.
Take a shit.
It's a bit mad when he comes.
Oh, you lie! Don't lie, bro.
I saw that. He runs bad. He was
Lindelof and run belly.
On.
Lindelof and run belly.
What is that? Why he came off?
Apparently, so yeah, he had to. Did you not see him go straight down? He ran. He quickly ran.
Didn't want to do a Gary Lineker, innit?
Nah, bro, I never knew that. No, that's yeah.
Hey, if you got to go, you got to go, man.
You have to, yeah, man. Arsenal. If it was Champions League final though, yeah, and you had 10 minutes to go, you shitting yourself, or you walking off?
I'm shitting myself.
Yeah.
You know what that means? That means
for the badge.
The striker don't want to come near you. You stink.
Drop one for the badge, innit? Drop one for the badge.
It's like, I dare you to back up on man. Yeah, man, bun it. Fabian Barthez style, man. Whatever.
Yo, nah. You bet. Oh, nah. No, I couldn't.
How when is Amrabat supposed to? When are we expecting to see him?
Next game.
Yeah, potentially next game. He's obviously got to be match fit, and I think, if I'm being honest, people are going to call Ten Hag stubborn for it, but I can justify, me personally, I can see him justifying that performance as opposed to result, and going, I can stick with the same team.
100%. He never sticks someone on the first time. He will just introduce him when he needs to introduce.
He did with Casemiro, to be fair, McTominay. So
you know, it'd be good though. I like Eriksen at home, so I don't have no qualms with that. And I think if there's anything, we should have some element of control beating Brighton's press, and it's easy. I think West Ham showed if you're resilient and a bit powerful in them, and win the ball up in their final third, you cause problems, especially down their flanks. Down their flanks, there's huge problems down their flanks because of how high they want to play.
Amrabat's quite press resistant as well, with really press resistant. So I think that's going to be a big factor. I think
that's what I love about the guy. But I feel like if you are, let's say, a 2-0 up against, or even a 1-0 up against the Brighton at home, Amrabat's perfect. Yeah. Good luck, because he will.
Yeah, I think. If you think about it, though, yeah, man. Like, let's be honest. Let's be really honest. We're not getting the results, but the performances, given the situation of the club and the players that we haven't got in, like, we are doing all right. To be fair, the table won't reflect it. But moving forward, when certain players are coming back, and again, I can only assume and predict healthily that we're going to perform even better the more the season goes on. I'm going to get into a groove.
We've got a question.
I think we claw these points back. I think we genuinely claw these points back, and we have a mentality shift again.
I don't know if you want to answer this question. Can Mount and Bruno work if Amrabat's playing in the 6?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, they can. They actually can, because I've seen it for Fiorentina. Go watch their centre mids, their higher centre mids and stuff like that. There's so many different. Amrabat, Milenkovic, and everything, like, it just worked. It's not too. It's kind of similar.
People are misunderstood on Mason Mount, right? And this is the thing. This is why, although, and again, it's not a cuss to say, but I'll just be me. I'll be blunt. Yeah, I'll be very blunt, but very honest, not maliciously though. People's ball knowledge sometimes can be limited, and it locks off their ideas of what they could actually potentially see. For example, people don't rate Mason Mount as a baller. And because they don't rate him aesthetically as a baller or don't see him do anything incredible, right? They limit what they want to believe on him rather than actually going and understanding, well, what am I missing from him and how does he fit what my manager's doing? And that's when you have to take yourself out of the equation. Most people don't do that.
Not many people can
when
do
you
that.
understand Mason Mount,
Not many people can do that.
Yeah, and that's why I don't get onto them, because it's a skill to be able to do that, because that's called having self-reflection in life. You know, most people don't do it in their own world, so I don't expect it. But it is necessary, and if you're able to do so, then I strongly encourage you to ask why every single time.
You
Challenge
enjoy
yourself, because
football
if you
more
look
as
at
well.
Mason Mount, sorry, bro, yeah, if you look at Mason Mount, yes, I would agree with you. He's not all of those things, and that's why I don't personally rate him. But I can see his importance, and I understand why he's there. But in order for him to work, he needs the ball carrier behind him, because he is limited in what he can do. So therefore, you're going to see him in positions on that pitch, expecting to do things he's not necessarily great at, and then you're going to justify and go, "Why are we spending for that?" And although that is a conclusion you can come to, and it would make sense because that's what you're seeing, what you're missing is the fact that how does Mason Mount work, and what is necessary to get the best out of him. You're not looking at solutions; you're looking at the problem and stopping at the problem 24/7. Same way it was with De Gea. Oh, he's kicking. I get it. You've seen the problem, but you're not looking at the solutions, and then how those solutions can be made to make the team better, even if he is a problem. So once you're able to fill in the solution of bringing that ball carrier in, what you will see potentially, and I always say it's about 60-70% of games, because not every player is going to 100% be in the same position every single time. It's football. We know what football's like, right? Sometimes you're going to see Rashford at right back. Like, it happens, right? So 60-70% of the game, if it's a game that you're up on, you're in control of for most of 90 minutes, 60-70% of the game, I'm expecting you to see Mason Mount higher up the pitch more often than not, because the ball carrier is bringing it in. And where is he most effective from an offensive standpoint? In and around the box in the last area. The amount of space that my man has in and around the area, because he's the last man runner. You see it quite often a lot. And you saw it in pre-season as well. Pre-season was a big highlight, especially when Maino was playing with that ball carrying role. You saw where Mason Mount was ending up is in dangerous situations. So you can see where he will be valued, but you won't see the quality. And I'll finish on this. I always liken the Mason Mount signing to Jordan Henderson when he first joined Liverpool. I've always said Jordan Henderson was a Lee Cattermole talent player. And that's not disrespect, that's just the quality. If you know who Lee Cattermole is, then cool. He's not up there talent-wise. And I was laughing at Liverpool, but took my Man United bias off and put my football head on. I wanted to understand the situation. Thinking, is Klopp mad or what? And I did it with Firmino as well. I looked at him, thought, you brought a striker in. He don't bag goals. Who's this guy? Then I start seeing how crucial he is to the system. Like, raw shit, he's a sick player. Because again, I took my bias away. So I went and understood that players can have a role and be effective and important, even if they aren't naturally ballers in your eye. And that should be enough, because effectiveness should come above being a baller. And this is the same thing I have with Bruno Fernandes, etc. But again, that was a different conversation.
There's a few people in the comments that are suggesting that Ten Hag's going to use Mason Mount more as a wide player than he will as a midfielder if we have enough midfielders. Does that make any sense to anyone?
No,
I don't see it unless it's necessary. I don't know about you guys.
For control, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Bruno on the right. I don't want to see that gimmick. I've got Garnacho, Rashford, and the other lot, man. Anthony, Ahmad might be back by then.
Ahmad when he comes back.
Ahmad's back. Yeah.
I don't want to see them on the wing. Look, I was just looking at our fixture list, and this is where we need to go on a run. Otherwise, it's not gonna, like last season, we're in the same position we were. Except this time around, we played Liverpool and Arsenal. We got Brighton at home, Burnley away, Crystal Palace at home, Brentford at home, Sheffield United away, and then Man City at home. So, in my opinion, now we need to go on a run until we hit that Newcastle game. We need to see W's, and even against the Man Cities at home, we need to see a W.
I agree.
We can't be going at home with it, because we beat them last year, so we need to emulate last season and progress on it.
Yeah, it's true. Standards.
This is where this is up until that Man City game. He has time to implement whatever style he needs to, and with whatever best first 11 he thinks is suited. Got 2 games in between, Galatasaray, Palace and everything. Bar all them matches, I want to win them all, obviously. I don't think we're going to. it's quite hard to win all of that. But we need to start doing this thing where we can go on a 10-game winning streak, no draws. But straight after Man City, who do we have? I think it's is it Fulham and then Newcastle? Now that Newcastle away game or Luton Town after Luton Town, we can build off of this. We have to build off of this.
Yeah,
you know.
I'd like you said, Kaz, that the situation Man United are performance-wise, put the results and emotions that we've taken in from those games and the disappointments. It's not that bad. Like the performance-wise are getting better. So that's a golden era to get players back. 2, obviously have Højlund by then at least 3-4 games up to scratch, starting for us, and then actually being able to have some confidence building off from it. And you know it takes 2, 3, 4 games of W's consistently to go raw. Okay, it looks like they're overcoming a blip. And then all of a sudden, the mentality shifts from everyone else, whether it's rivals, whether it's other fans, they go raw. We can take Man United seriously now. It happens with everyone.
We saw it last year, and I'm hoping Amrabat and Casemiro is the reason why big teams struggle against us, wholeheartedly struggle against us.
Yeah.
Whether it's too defensive, the transition is too much. Like, I need to see it.
I just want, I'll be honest, if I speak on my preference, which is very rare, I just want clinical finishes. And the reason I make that my preference is because I saw last season that it was the biggest issue, and the season before that was the biggest issue, putting the ball in there. And this is why I'm a huge advocate of having Amad Diallo personally, and also I can see him working in Ten Hag's system because right-footed left winger. But I look at it and go, my man's got the capabilities to bag goals, right foot, left foot, and he's more consistent in and around the box and more so competent and mature in those areas. If I'm looking at that and he's got the opportunity to create, and you've got Højlund, then I don't mind having the Rashford being the more selfish player, because you can have a selfish forward, just not too many in creative areas or areas where it needs to be more creative. And that, for me, if we've got clinical finishes, we're dominating.
Anthony needs to double on what he got last year. Bruno Fernandes, I remember he kept smashing against the bar. I remember that one against even...
God. Was it the one against Spurs when he did that nutmeg?
Yeah, against Tottenham.
He hit the bar like 3 times. It's like 3 times or something.
It's just little things like that. Everyone needs a chip in a little more. And even Rashford, he's already on to a decent start. So, you know what I mean? Like, I know we've had no goals from the striking position. We need... Højlund's going to get
forwards, man.
I think he'll get... I think Højlund will get goals, you know. I think
if we're being very, very old school,
we need 12, 13 Premier League goals alone from Højlund as a first base start of a season.
100.
And a few assists. I can see him getting a few assists. I look at him kind of...
I think he'll get goals. I think he will get goals. I can see him getting quite a few goals, to be honest.
I can see him get... You know what it is? I can see him getting braces in certain games and then certain games being locked out of, but then other players will come and get the goals, if that makes sense. I think that's the type of season of life. Could be wrong, but I just... You know what it is? If you win, and this is what I say old school, if you win games... you're less likely to start talking about all the bullshit, really. Like, you focus on it a bit and go, we've got the 3 points. And then when we get to that stage, you'll start to see how half of our issues that we create as fans disappear just because you're winning.
We're going to take this question because we're going to wrap up now. We're going to wrap up the show. We're going to take this this last question from Mungai. Shout out, man. Big up. What do you guys think of Wan-Bissaka in possession of the ball?
Let's take it first, man.
When we're in possession.
He looks unorthodox, but I fuck with it. That's all I can say. Is like I look at him taking up positions where I never thought I'd see Wan-Bissaka. Like yesterday, I saw him high up in a high 8 position next to Anthony.
Yo, my cousin made a joke. My cousin made a joke that Wan-Bissaka was playing as a 10.
But the only thing that I don't like, the only thing that I can't stand is stop using your damn instep.
Yeah.
Basics of dribbling. Stop dribbling with your instep, man. It's predictable. But yeah, man, I think he does. I hate to say it, I love what he's doing, but we need more. Like, it's where
he's grown more confident, though. For me, I feel like in possession, he's grown more confident. He's before he was so defensively minded that he couldn't get his brain to switch quick enough from when the transition happens. I think now he's programmed himself to think about attacking just as much as he thinks about defending. So if you look at when the transition happens,
I'll be honest, I don't believe he gets enough credit to the heights he should do, given the fact that he's gone from, he can defend, but he can't do what Dalot does going forward, to absolutely obliterating what Dalot does going forward and doing more, especially in possession, link-up play, shielding the ball, dropping people on their arses.
One-twos everywhere.
Like, he's doing, it's not like he's doing it out of fluke, and it looks like a fluke because you don't expect it, and it's that weird. You're like, what's going on? He's actually doing it. And I think it's taking people time to come to the realization of Roy is actually doing something I never thought he could do. But when the penny drops for people, they go, shit. That's when they go, fuck me, how's he done that? And that's why for me last season, I said, especially towards the end of last season, he was the most improved player ever. Because I've seen it, and I'm seeing it consistently, and it's not changing.
Remember,
so people need to get on board with that.
Malacia was playing right back. You know what I mean? Like, he's another one that came through out of injury as well. Look, he's made his position his own. He done a Marcus Rashford, man, put his head down, instead of, blurting out messages back to the manager.
It's true. It's true. Perfect example, man. You know what's mad, yeah, Kaz? He's got every reason to be a bit bossy now, given the fact that he's been consistent for the back end of last season, was instrumental start of this season. Of course, yes, he had his mistakes. However, he's been more consistent, but yet still he stays humble with it. And all he's done in his interview again, I put my head down, I started working worked on things that I need to improve on. And he's showing fruits. There's not many professionals in this day and age and this era of people, let alone sportsmen. So I've got extra credit and respect for him being able to be in a situation where he could be bossy with it and still just, again, maybe his personality, and I respect it either way, but either way, it is what it is. He deserves so much more respect and more patience and time because he's earned it. I don't know how many fans out there can honestly say certain players have earned a level of patience. Or unless it's a sympathy vote like Sancho, because obviously... Can you hear me?
Lost you for a second.
I'm back, yeah?
Lost you for a second.
Yeah, sorry if I had a phone call. But yeah, I don't know if it's because obviously people had the sympathy vote. I know Donny's situation, I know Twanzebe's situation. I know flipping, what do you call it? What's his face? Palestri. I'm had a situation where there's a bit of an emotional, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you haven't been given an opportunity. But Basaka, I don't think there's any other player, maybe bar Shaw, if you want to go down that route, who's actually earned.
Someone wants to speak to Neji big time. But you know what, Kaz, while we're waiting for Neji to come back, you see that question, why does Anthony play? Neji, you back? Just speak.
Yeah, sorry, my big Papa Fox trying to call me, man. I'll finish up. The last bit I was saying, basically, I don't know any other player.
We're wrapping up anyway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, wicked. I just don't know any other player that's actually earned the ability to have patience over him. I don't know any other player in the squad when you deep it. That's based off merit and him earning that himself. I don't know.
I agree.
No, I agree. Now listen, good show again, Danny. I don't know if Danny can hear me. Danny, if you
he went go do a Lindelof, man,
in the control room. No, big up, man, everyone. Good show. Big up to everyone that's in the chats. Why does Anthony play like a right back? That's a good question, but we won't go into that. I thought that actually at one point yesterday played a bit like a right back. But no, shout out to everyone that's in the listeners, man. There's a few super chats, but Danny's been in and out, so I'll say thanks on his behalf. I'm sure he said it when I went away for a little bit. But no, thanks for all the super chats, all the listeners, some regulars in here. So big up to everyone, man. Keep coming back. We're gonna end the stream now. If Danny in the control room can do that, that'd be much appreciated. Kaz, Neji, thanks. Good to see you guys as always, man. Good to see you guys.
Big ups, man.
Yeah, man. Big up.
Love people, man.